Three, two, one.
This is episode 23 of DJ Talks. My name is Johnny.
Hey, what's up? I am Dan.
That is Dan. Hell yeah, that's Dan.
I'm gonna do that every time now. I am
Just real
Dan.
slow. I am Dan. You got to draw that out a little bit.
Oh man.
Yeah. Um. So I just want to say, in our last episode, we talked about the Suburban Express controversy slash, blow up with
Hmm.
all of their questionable remarks online. We actually got a lot of positive feedback from that. I had a couple people message me and tell me, yo, fuck Suburban Express, or they were telling me about how they're really glad that Dan and I covered it. So, hey, good job, man. Apparently we did a decent job of like talking about it without like getting too
Upsetting.
political. That was some of the feedback that we got. So I was really glad with that because
Hmm.
that was actually like our goal, right?
Yeah, because we want to keep. I think we want to keep our channel more so fun and entertaining and informative and kind of our opinions, but we don't want to be too left or too right or too political or too much of directly into one area. So it's tough to draw that line, but as long as you guys enjoyed it, I'm glad.
Yeah, I mean, we'll dive into deeper topics that we have a lot of confidence in, like the whole anxiety thing, like talking about esports. Those are things that we're pretty comfortable talking about, but we don't want to like get super political with stuff. So I'm glad that we are able to like stay in a comfortable zone for most people. I mean, if you guys didn't think that we did, and you think maybe we didn't go like enough into it, or we went too far into it, like let us know. We definitely want to know these things. Definitely feel free to comment if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to us on any of our other platforms. You can email us at djtalkspodcast@gmail.com. Also, let me know how my new mic is because I am using a new mic. So if it sounds boosted, like please tell me.
There you go.
Um,
He's got that nice headset up right now. Look at that.
you, you know, you know. But anyway, today we wanted to talk about Pokemon. I'm actually really excited because Dan and I have been playing a shit ton of Pokemon recently,
Hmm.
and we thought it'd be cool if we not only talked about our impressions of the games that we're playing now. I'm playing Ultra Moon. Dan, you're playing Ultra Sun, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And then we would maybe even go through, well, not maybe, we will go through a history of all the major Pokemon titles and then like our experience with them, what we thought of them, what was like playing them back whenever it was,
Hmm.
and kind of just going down memory lane. I'm super excited.
Definitely, and you can tell with the nice background, we got a little bit of a Pikachu going on. He's cute and all. Pokemon. It's a great game, and it's lasted for this long.
Real long time, yeah.
Nintendo has been, just popping these out left and right.
Yeah, there's a
Uh,
ton.
it's not only. I feel like they've been doing a great job not only on their marketing and their ability to make these like Pokemon and characters in the game actually profitable, but also super interesting as well. So the games have their own storylines and all this. So I mentioned this on our top three games sometime last two episodes ago, but if you haven't played Pokemon or know too much about it, you must be living under a rock. Yes.
Yikes!
But yeah, I mean, you see this Pikachu, that's cute as fuck. Come on.
Cute as fuck. All right, so let's start. Do you want to start at the very beginning, or do you want to start with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon? Because initially, I think we were like maybe talking about
Hmm.
we're gonna talk about the games now, but then I almost feel like we should start from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, let's go. Let's start off at the initial inception of this Pokemon generations.
Cool. So I know that in Japan, they initially released Red and Green.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was
1997.
1996.
Six. Oh, six. All right.
Yeah, it was 96, and they released Red and Green, and then came Blue afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But in America, we went Red, Blue, and then we got Yellow after. Or not America, but like the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Um, so did you play like Red and Blue?
I played Red. So I had, I think this was on the initial, like the gray silver Game Boy, the small little one, not even the color one, but the one before the color.
So the
Um,
original Game Boy without color?
it wasn't even the original Game Boy. because the original Game Boy was like the gigantic one. You know
Uh-huh.
that really big one.
Yeah.
I got it when there was the mini silver version of it. I don't
Okay.
even know if you guys remember that, but I think I still have it. I broke the screen, I think, but
Is
whatever.
that the one where you can like see through the case and see a little bit of the hardware? You know what I'm talking about?
No, that's color.
Oh, okay.
That's Game Boy Color. There was one slightly before that that was only black and white.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, besides the point, I got that as a gift on I believe Christmas. Um,
Oh, damn.
so I got Pokemon Red and the Game Boy, and I know I've talked about this in the past before on our what favorite games.
Our most viewed episode, yeah.
Yes, so Pokemon Red was the initial start to the entire Pokemon hype. Everything about Pokemon, I loved everything about that game, and I dropped so many hours. If
Mhm.
you want to check out more of like what I did, I think we talked about it in that video. But what was your initial start, or when did you actually jump on this Red and Blue or
Oh,
Pokemon?
man. I think I think it had to have been, let's see, 2000. So 2007 was when Pearl came out. But so I think my first Pokemon game was, man, it might have been, okay, so it's between Leaf Green, Blue, and Pearl. I don't exactly remember. I want to say it was Leaf Green because I started playing it when I got my when I had a Game Boy, um when I was in like, okay, yeah, this it was definitely Leaf Green between like 5th grade and 7th grade. So I was like 12 at the time, I think, like
Hmm.
there. When I met my friend Kyle, he found out that I hadn't played the originals before. So this is back when GameStop still carried like OG Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, etc.
Hell yeah!
So he actually went to GameStop, bought a copy of Blue, and gifted it to me. I know I still have the game somewhere. I don't know where it is because, like, moving around between apartments and coming home from college, it's like somewhere in a box somewhere. But yeah, I remember I was really happy because he told me like he really wanted me to play the game, so he like went out of his way and like asked his mom like go to GameStop or some shit. So I did play Blue. Um, I loved it. I remember I actually bought like a really ghetto Game Boy Advance cable to connect Game Boys.
Hmm.
It wasn't an official one because at this time I think they're transitioning away from the Game Boy to the 3D, to the DS. I
Okay.
almost 3DS just like so naturally, but the cable was so ghetto that like it would work sometimes, and I tried to like trade with my friend with Kyle. It didn't always work. Tried to battle each other. It didn't always work, but yeah, I was like I put a lot of time into Blue.
Hmm.
I remember that was the game that like I would always hide under my pillow, and then I would play when my parents
Yep.
left. I had a Game Boy Advance SP, so I was very
Okay.
spoiled because I had a backlight. Um, yeah, that was dope, man. I loved Blue.
Hmm.
I picked Squirtle. Who did you pick in Red?
I started off with Squirtle.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. I think I read up on. No, I didn't. Okay, so I don't know if you remember, but they used to have these like little books or magazines or things where it's like a guide, Pokemon guides. I think they still have them now. They're not as
Yeah, I still buy
popular.
them.
Yeah, they're not as popular because everyone can Google them. But
Yeah.
for Pokemon Red and Blue, I got this. I used to go to Barnes and Nobles or bookstores or any type of store, and actually, that's what I read. I went there to read Pokemon stuff.
Dude, those books are so dope. You see like these really nice graphics and they
Hmm.
tell you like where to go, where to find cool stuff.
Exactly.
I
All the
love
secret stuff, all the items. What do you have on this map in the Pokemon game? What is this map? What is that map? Where do you catch all the Pokemon? What Pokemon actually are popping out in certain routes? So I loved everything about that. And then the internet happened, and now you can easily find them.
yeah, basically. It's almost like there's so much stuff online
Hmm.
that you almost want to avoid spoilers sometimes. So like when Ultra Moon had just been released, I didn't have a lot of time to play it, so I was like, "Ooh, I gotta stay away from this shit because I know it's gonna like pop up everywhere." So
Yeah.
yeah, like stay
But
off of Reddit, stay off of Facebook.
mhm. But Generation One was Professor Oak,
Yep.
good start. Ash or Red or whatever you want to call him that you
Hmm.
wanted to start off with. Ash was the anime manga, but Red was the actual considered the character or Blue.
Yeah.
But
No, red was
right, Red
the character. Blue was your rival.
rival. But people always go with Ash and Gary, so
Yeah.
uh, go from there. I mean, it was a very good game. There were a lot of flaws, obviously, with this game. Um, starting off with their very first game. Like, I know now the special, the special attack and special defense in
It
it,
was just called a special stat. There's no
one
special attack.
special stat.
Yeah.
And that entire thing was so special attack and special defense, they were one stat, they were equal. So your special attack and your special defense were the exact same.
Oh wait, really?
Yes. So in competitive, I
Oh,
guess
that's
people didn't really go competitive, but yeah, the special was special attack and defense were equal. So Chansey, you saw a huge high special. I don't know the Pokemon Chansey has a huge special generally, and her special attack, and her special defense were massive. So
hilarious. I know that.
super interesting. There are a lot of small little things that I was watching up and actually I didn't know about, but um, I just know I've like you. I used to play, but I got grounded a lot, or I not grounded, but like people. My parents took away my Game Boy, but I
Same.
used to find it while they're out. Like I
Yeah.
searched their room, I found it, and I played until I heard them come home, and I ran and put it back. But I played under my bed or under my covers. I didn't have the luxury of the light. They used to have for the Game Boy this light fixture, the thing that actually connects onto the Game Boy, and it
Yeah.
goes hooks over it, and you
Mhm.
can have a light shine into the game. I had one of those as well. So I played under my bed. I got caught a couple of times, but it was all
Yeah.
worth it in the end, right? It was all
Oh
worth
yeah,
it in
dude.
the end.
Totally worth it. What do you think was like highlight? Like, do you have a highlight memory from playing Red?
Dude, missing no.
Missing no.
That's all I like. I just remember the cheats.
Yeah.
After playing through it so many times, finally, I don't know where I discovered it. I think one of my friends actually told me about it. But the cheat where you have the item in a certain slot,
The
six
sixth
slot,
slot,
right?
and you have to talk to the guy that teaches you how to catch a Pokemon.
Yeah,
It's a fly to
Cinnabar
the
Island.
Seafoam Cinnabar Island,
Yeah.
and then surf along the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you come across a missing no, which was a data error or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be part of the game, but then you all of a sudden got like infinite number of that item in that sixth slot. So I used to what's it called? Grab some rare candy, some master balls,
And nuggets.
nugget. I didn't even need
They have
nuggets.
unlimited money.
You don't
It
need
felt
them.
good to have a lot of money, but you're right. All the value with
Rare candy and master balls. So you just go around, catch all the Pokemon. I think I got up to like 130.
hmm
I never finished them all because I never could trade. I never had
Yeah.
friends who played.
Yeah, same. It was so hard trying to find people to trade with.
And then I never had the blue generation or the blue version of it. So
Yeah.
never got any of that. But that was Generation 1. They came out with Yellow a year after that, which was a kind of like a Pikachu version of it, where your starter Pokemon was Pikachu. I played through that. It's not as memorable. It was very cute. It was, I think, that at the time when, I don't know when Pokemon the actual show came out too, but maybe the show got so much popularity that they popped out a yellow version,
Mhm.
so you can actually enjoy the Pikachu, and the Pikachu followed you around too, which was really cool.
Yeah. I think it was. I think it would have been cool to start with Yellow if you felt a very close connection to Ash in the anime, just
Mhm.
because it's very iconic to start with Pikachu as opposed to like Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur. But there is like a little novelty in like being able to forge your own path and choose who you want your like partner to be, as opposed to like just like following the story that's already been written for
Hmm.
someone else. So I think like some people will, like, I'm sure, love yellow, but I hear much less about love for yellow as I
Hmm.
do love for red and blue.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, yellow had everything. Like yellow, you
Yeah,
could get all three of the starter Pokemon from red and blue as well
that's
in the
true.
game.
Yeah, that's true.
So you had that option as well as all of the included with the red and the blue. So um, I don't know. It was still super interesting for a very good start to the series.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. There's also a spin-off, not a spin-off, but the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy. Did you ever play that?
I collected it. I did
Oh,
not
very nice.
play it. So
Yeah, there was a Game Boy game that
oh yeah
was
yeah
of the trading card game, like an electronic version.
yeah Pokemon trading card game. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty troll. I really liked it. I actually have a copy for some reason. I don't know why. I don't remember buying it. Maybe I think I did buy it. Um, I don't know how else I would have it, but yeah, I played it a lot. It was pretty fun.
Hmm.
The
It
busted Professor Oak card, man. Dump your hand, draw seven. Feels good.
yeah. I never understood the game.
Hmm.
Um, so I never got too into it, but I played it a couple times. I think my friend had it, so I
Hmm.
played it a couple times. It didn't make any sense, so
Yeah,
I never continued. I guess.
yeah, but just acknowledgement that game exists. Moving on. Gold and silver. Dan, you have a lot to say about this because, like, just before everybody flames me, I guess, because you're gonna. I never played gold and silver, nor did I play crystal. So let me have it. Tell me why you love these games so much.
All right, Gold and Silver was a huge improvement on Red and Blue. It's like they took everything that was wrong about the game and tried to super improve this game. Now, from what I heard, actually, Nintendo was actually planning on stopping after Gold and Silver or Crystal this
Wait,
generation.
really?
Yeah. So that's
No.
so one thing was so this game came out in 2000, which was 1 year after Yellow. I feel like yeah, it's basically every year has some type of new game. The only one that actually didn't was the Ruby and Sapphire, which was 2 years after Crystal. So
You mean
like the time
Emeralds?
it took. No, like the time it
Oh,
took between each game.
oh, I see, I see. Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. So you're saying that Emerald came after Ruby Sapphire 2 years after, but every other like
No.
second
Ruby and
generation came.
Sapphire came 2 years after Crystal.
And then Emerald came 2 years after Ruby Sapphire.
Did it? Oh
Yeah,
shit.
I thought that's what you were saying.
Oh yeah. No, but Fire Red and Leaf Green came in between. But besides the point. But yeah, so first off, you started with three amazing Pokemon. So obviously you have your starters, same as always, but
This
they're
is
super iconic.
Chikorita,
Yeah.
Cyndaquil,
Mm-hmm.
Totodile.
Cute as fuck,
Yeah, they're
Cyndaquil.
so cute, dude.
Totodile is this like quirky little crocodile thing.
I love Totodile, man.
I think
Totally.
the first time I ever played Gold and Silver, I started with Chikorita though.
Hmm.
But then I went to Cyndaquil, and then I finally went to Totodile. I think Totodile was actually the best, but um, in my opinion, the things that Gold and Silver actually added, it was the first time you actually had male and female Pokemon. Okay,
Oh,
it was the first time you actually could breed Pokemon, so eggs. It was the first time it had day and night. There were two new types, the Steel and Dark. That actually, one big problem with Pokemon, the first generation, was that Psychic was so strong because nothing beat it except one type, which was Poison or Bug type. Sorry,
yeah.
and there were no Bug type moves that were even remotely good in that game. So there were
Uh-huh.
huge competitive downfalls as well. People just took Psychic Pokemon, Mewtwo, and Alakazam and them, and nobody could beat them, right? So they added Steel and Dark, and Psychic actually finally apparently found some type of weakness. Um, Then the rival in this game felt very dynamic.
Silver.
Yeah. So
His name
it's
is Silver.
mhm.
Yeah.
The rival actually felt dynamic because he.
Oh wait, I know this one. He's Giovanni's son, and it's alluded in the game that because Giovanni lost to Red in Red and Blue,
Mhm.
um, Giovanni left to go train and just left Silver on his own. So Silver kind of like really resented his dad, but also realized that he couldn't necessarily part his identity from Giovanni, and he kind of like carries that with him, even though he wants to forge his own path. Is that what you were gonna say?
Not at all.
Oh, really?
That was Heart Gold Soul Silver, actually. That's
Wait, what? I thought
they.
that was in like gold and silver. I the reason why I know this, and
Mhm.
by the time this video goes up, I'll be fine. Um, but for one of my Secret Santa gifts, I got a friend some Pokemon pins, and it's a Pikachu, Cyndaquil, Chikorita, and Totodile. And so I think this is amazing. I'm really proud of myself for it. This is a total tangent, by the way. But so as part of the gift, I wanted to find a creative way to give her the pins. I didn't want to just say, "Here's your pins, Merry Christmas." Um, so I gave her three items. Well, yeah, three items. I gave her the set of pins that I just described of the Johto starters.
Mhm.
I gave her a lanyard, a Pokemon lanyard, and I gave her a Pikachu pin. Well, two, but I'll explain that later. So as a way to give her the Johto region starters, I wrote her a letter and I pretended to be Silver, and
Oh,
because I
okay.
remember that in Red and Blue, Gary or Blue is an asshole, and he's just like, "Yo, come, like, I'm gonna run your ass over when I meet you at Professor Oak's, my grandpa's place." Um, so in the letter, I was pretending to be Silver, and I talked about how I looked them up because I never played Gold and Silver, and I looked them up, and I was like, "Yeah, I resent my dad, blah blah blah, but I'm gonna be like a really good Pokemon trainer." And I was like talking to like the recipient as if she
Okay.
was my rival, and I was like, "Oh, so Professor Elm, right?
Mhm.
Elm like told me to give you to let you choose one of these Pokemon, but I like these other Pokemon better because he's iconic for having a Gengar, a Magneton, and one of the Pokemon that escapes me. Um, but then I was like, so you can have all three, and here's a lanyard to prove that like you're going on your journey. And then there's a set of two Pokemon pins. There's Pikachu, the 20th anniversary of Pikachu. I actually have a picture of it right here. It's this guy,
Oh,
the one
cool.
with the hat.
Yeah.
And so it was a set of two. She's really big into collecting pins, and I thought it'd be cool if I was like, had a couple of my own pins. So
Okay.
I was like, oh, you can pick one and then send me back the other one and we'll match. And I included like a shipping label for her to send it back to me. But in the letter, I was like, yeah, I included a label so you could send the other pin back via a Pidgey and it'll know which Pokemon Center I was at. Like, I just thought the letter was like super adorable. That's why I know the story of Silver, only because I looked it up and I was
Mhm.
curious. You were kind of talking about it and I just got excited because I thought that was a story. But
He
totally irrelevant, so you can take the floor back.
They actually didn't reveal anything about the rival like that deeply, but you can actually
uh,
see the progression of him treating his Pokemon really poorly throughout the game and finally realizing at the end that, oh, maybe this is not the right way to treat them. This is your way is probably the best or something like that. So um, they actually added that in, I think, in Heart Gold and Soul Silver because one thing about Gold and Silver was it had Team Rocket in it. Their whole goal,
oh.
so their whole goal was to actually, spoiler alert, I guess, if you want, but if you haven't played and you want to, there it is, spoiler alert. They were taking over the radio tower in Goldenrod City in order to find Giovanni because he disappeared.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I think they revealed it later on that this was this like that was the story that you just said. So the rival was pretty dynamic, and they just introduced a whole bunch of new things. Not only that, but the post credit campaign, which basically the post Elite Four, you got to go back to Kanto to relive basically your Pokemon Red and Pokemon Silver,
I
or
love
Pokemon Red and
that.
Pokemon
That's
Blue.
so dope.
right? So you got to fight all these new the same gym leaders, but it's like almost like a blast from the past thing. And then
Hmm.
you go through the entire Kanto. Yeah, there were a lot of things missing, like the Safari Zone and this and that, but overall, super cool that you actually got to go back to Kanto after you finished the initial Johto region for Gold and Silver. So that was a huge thing. This was also the first generation that introduced shiny Pokemon.
Oh, okay. I thought
Okay.
that was later, but
Mm-mm.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
this was the first generation because you had that red Gyarados in the middle of the game,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So it was super cool. It was like these like small little treasure pieces that you can actually find. Um, and then at the very end of the game, you actually got to fight Red, and you got to battle Red. So you got to battle the protagonist, I guess you can say, from the first game. So all
Yeah.
of that added together, this game just made me like it was not only a very good game by itself in the beginning, but it also had that blast from the past for the red and gold or red and blue, and it just incorporated so many new aspects to the game that improved it so much more. So, all right, whew, there you go. That's my rant there.
There's
Really
gold and
good,
silver.
fun.
That honestly makes me real excited to play it because I bought Silver on the Virtual Console for the 3DS.
Mhm.
So, while I haven't played it yet, I'm kind of saving it for a rainy day because I've been grinding so much Ultra Moon, and I do kind of want to go back and play X. Um, it is one of my goals to complete the National Pokedex on Ultra Moon. So maybe if I complete that, then I'll go back to Silver. I feel like Silver would be really good, like if I'm on a plane going somewhere. It's like I have like a lot of downtime.
Mhm.
Just because like it doesn't require internet and I can just like play the game for what it is um like a less distracted environment. But
Yeah,
I'm excited
definitely.
to play it. If it's one of your favorite games, like that's enough of a reason for me to want to play.
Yeah.
So
It's not the best graphics compared to nowadays, but it's still a good, very good start. So.
yeah.
Oh, and then the additional like legendary Pokemons were super cool. So not only do you have the big legendary birds, which were Ho-Oh and Lugia, and Ho was the one that you actually saw in the anime in the beginning, where the Ho flies across. They didn't even introduce that for the entire first game, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden, boom, second game, Ho pops up, Lugia pops up, and the three legendary
Dogs.
dogs.
Celebi
And
was also
then
introduced in this game, right?
it was in Crystal.
In Crystal,
Yeah.
okay.
You actually had to have some like Japanese something like a cartridge or so. I don't even know how you got it, but you got it in some forest. I watched this because I was really curious on how you got Celebi, but you couldn't actually get it through Gold, Silver, or Crystal unless you had something special
I
external.
see.
So
That makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, those and they had pretty cool dynamic backstories. I
Hmm.
guess there was somewhat of a backstory. I guess it's not as dynamic as Mewtwo was, especially because they made almost a full movie off of it. But
Yeah, I love Mewtwo's story, dude. He's so cool.
yes, but still, they added so many new legendary Pokemon. One annoying part was that you had to actually find the legendary dogs while just randomly walking through grass. You just randomly come across it.
Oh, they definitely had that in Heart Gold Soul Silver. Like my dumbass, I mean, like I was really impatient, so I looked it all up, and they said, yeah, you have to like find them just randomly
Yep.
walking around.
The most annoying because not only when you actually found them would they not like they could actually use the move roar right away.
Oh,
So so if you actually do happen to find them in the wild, they use roar right away, and I got that happen. So now you had to have like a haunter, or some Pokemon that had like mean look.
mean look to prevent. No,
Right.
is it
It's
mean look or scary? No, scary phase, lower speed. Mean look. Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. Yeah,
So mean look was the one that actually doesn't allow a Pokemon to run away.
yeah.
So so the most annoying thing was not only that, but after you found them, you can actually look through your Pokedex and see where they're at. But You, if you flew, or if
It
you,
would you had to walk there, right?
yep, no, you can't even walk there because once you go through a door and go to a new area, they're in a different area. So what you had to do was you had to literally go back and forth through a door, and once you go back to the wild, look at your Pokedex, see where they're at, go back through the door if they're not there, and then go back to that same wild area
And
with the
just hope
grass,
that they
and
beat it.
and just keep going back and forth until you actually. And that's after you have seen the legendary dogs.
Oh,
That's
it's gonna be a bitch when I play it. Holy
that's not
shit.
only if you were lucky enough to see them.
Can you
So
catch all three in each game, or is that version exclusive?
no, you can catch all three in
Okay.
every single game. Yep.
Actually, wait, yeah, they did that for Red and Blue. We can catch all three
Mhm.
birds.
Crystal was the only one that they gave you Suicune, pretty much. Like, not gave you, but you can actually fight it without having to search for it.
Hmm.
So, but still, the most annoying. Ugh. I don't think I ever caught all three. I think I caught two, and then I just gave up on the third. Like, screw this crap, and just.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like really annoying too, so I'm probably gonna look stuff up
Mhm.
anyway. But maybe I'll resist and I'll be able to like just get through the grind and figure it out on my own.
Well,
So
yeah.
yeah, no, that's
Moving
it.
on then.
Moving on. Next we have Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. I guess we can. So this is kind of weird because we're entering a phase now where like Pokemon's getting like pretty advanced.
Mhm.
In terms of like closer to what we see it as today. Did you play Ruby and Sapphire?
I did play Ruby and Sapphire, but I played Ruby and Sapphire on the VBA or the yeah on what's it called
Like on your computer
on
as
the
a
computer.
virtual.
Yep. So I
Okay.
didn't play it when it came out because my parents wouldn't buy me, or I did. I guess I was afraid to ask her. My parents didn't want to buy me another Game Boy, so
Hmm.
I didn't have the SP. I didn't have the Game Boy Advance. So eventually, I actually got to play it. So
So what did you think of them?
they were good. They weren't as memorable, but I know they added what the new things like abilities and natures into this one,
Yeah. Yep.
right? So that was something
Was this where
new.
they added IVs, or did they add IVs in?
I think they added IVs here as well. So IVs and
Okay.
EVs, so you can actually start being super competitive with training Pokemon and getting perfect natures and abilities and this and that, and actually be
Yeah.
super
So
competitive with
for
it.
those of you guys that don't know, IVs are abbreviation for individual values, and this is where it kind of tries to replicate the idea that no two Pokemon are alike, and there creates very wide stat variations in Pokemon, so they have like different identities and they have different natures. So like an adamant nature or mild nature would kind of describe the type of Pokemon they were and like their attitude. But these stat variations and natures, and later you learn effort values, can all be manipulated in ways where you can create like the strongest Pokemon possible through breeding and special training. So this is where like Dan's talking about, it gets very competitive, and you can enter
Mhm.
tournaments where you see people like with some of these Pokemon to really high levels. Hacking also gets like really messy here, but
Mhm.
we're not gonna talk too much about that. We're just gonna talk about our experiences with the games, but
Mhm.
just a little context. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, so I remember this was also the first time they introduced duo fighting too, which was kind of cool. So you can fight with two Pokemon at once against two other Pokemon.
Hmm.
So yeah, that. The one thing I didn't really like about this was the rivals. So you had, I guess, if you want to consider it in the anime version, it's like May and Wally.
Wally, the little green
Yeah,
hair fucker. Yeah,
yeah. Like they just weren't dynamic. They didn't. It didn't feel like they had anything going for them. Not you fought one of them, but then you fought the other one, but one of them meets you here, and then one of them fights you here, and it just didn't feel as cool or as like this is my rival. I need to beat her. He's my counterpart. He's my other person that always drives me crazy, but I always beat him. So I
wasn't
don't
Wally like a kid that got like beat up or some shit, and then like you kind of got him off his ass,
know.
and he's like, oh, he got really good.
Yeah. So he basically didn't know what he was doing. You helped him catch a Pokemon. It was Ralts. Ralts and
Oh yeah,
became
it
one
was
of the,
Ralts. Yeah.
which is one of the Pokemon that turns into Gardevoir. So, um,
Why do I know this? I don't remember playing like. Oh, it's because I played fucking
Omega Ruby and
Alpha
yeah,
Sapphire.
yeah.
That's why I know this. I'm like, wait, I never played these games. Why do I know this? Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it added a couple new things as well as cool new areas in the game. I think this is also the first time that the game looked like their graphics super improved from Gold, Silver to and Crystal to Ruby, Sapphire. So it looked like you were playing an actual character and not just like a 2D version of a blob. Um, and a lot of that stuff, but it wasn't as dynamic as Gold and Silver, especially because there was like this gap between it. Um, I don't even remember the starter Pokemon from it. Some bird, no, that's a new one.
I'm trying
As
to
you can
think.
see, it's like the bird, the water bird. It's like a little pigeon. Ah, God.
The water bird,
I'm just gonna Google this right now.
masquerade.
No, Masquerade's way different here. Starters. Oh yeah, Trico, Torchic.
Oh,
and
you talk about
Mudkip.
the.
Oh,
Yeah,
never
yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah.
It's a firebird.
Wait, I was like, what are you talking about, water bird? I'm like, I know the starters. I was just so confused as to like what you were.
Holy! You see, I don't even remember that, but I remember it in the anime actually. That's the one. Trico was
Yeah, Trico was
Ash's.
iconic because he was like a fucking fuck boy with the stick in his mouth.
Yeah,
Torchic was adorable, and Mudkip was. Well, Mudkip became a meme, so Mudkip is Mudkip.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, they just didn't feel cool
Really, dude? A
as gold.
lot of people
I
like
don't know.
most of
Trico.
my friends told me that Hoenn is their favorite region.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just because a lot of the Pokemon are just like super aesthetically pleasing, and they're very. I think they're memorable. I thought they're more memorable than Johto, but then that was like that was before I really played Heart Gold Soul Silver, and I was like, oh,
Okay.
Johto's actually really cool. So
Yeah, Johto only added 100 Pokemon. I think it was from 150 to 250, but I feel like their Pokemon were a lot more, yeah, a lot cooler in general.
I
But
think the legendaries in Hoenn actually stand out a lot more. Like Deoxys, Rayquaza, Kyogre, Groudon, like they're all pretty like they just seem like beasts. Like compared to, I mean, I guess like I don't want to downplay the Johto legendaries because I also thought they were really cool, but I don't know. They just like I think Pokemon dramatized the shit out of these Pokemon. Like Deoxys like came from space as this weird thing that like shapeshifts, and then
mm,
yeah, like Rayquaza is like incredibly powerful, like crazy buffed dragon that has like insane stats in game. Kyogre was like the Pokemon of the sea. Groudon was the ruler of the land.
yeah,
What
yeah.
else were there? They're
Regice, Regirock,
Oh
Registeel,
yeah, the Reggies were pretty big.
Latias, and Latios.
I loved. Okay, so there's a really good movie about Latias and Latios when I don't remember when it came out, man, but there's a really good movie, and I remember like crying when I first watched it. I also cried when I watched I cry a lot when I watch Pokemon. I don't know why, but the original Mewtwo movie, I cried, and then this
Hell yeah,
Latias
dude!
movie was adorable.
Wait, you got to stop right there before you go there. First Pokemon movie. Come on, man. That was Ash and Pikachu when
Oh
he
man, I loved that
sacrificed
movie.
himself. That was oof,
Oh,
that
so good.
hit the heartstrings right there.
Yeah,
It hit
you
the
really are,
heartstrings.
man.
You see
Oh,
all the Pokemon crying and Pikachu crying. Oh man, woo,
yeah.
woo.
Oh, it's getting hot.
Wait, I
But
got
yeah,
something in
no,
my eye.
that movie was
Just
amazing. What's up?
I got something in my eye. Just yeah.
I kind of want to rewatch that movie actually.
It was a good one.
Yeah, that was really good.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's a Latias movie that like a shapeshift and turn into a human.
Hmm.
And I remember like Latias would turn into a girl at the end of the movie. The girl kissed Ash, but we don't know if it was the actual girl in real life that like Latias was mimicking or if it was Latias. Um, but I just have very fond memories of that movie, so I fell in love with Latias and Latios like from that generation. So I think a lot of people just really like Hoenn, but like I'm glad to see that you're not like part of that bandwagon who
Ah,
like
I see.
fell in love with that region, and you have like a different because I think Johto's really cool too. I actually really like Johto.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was also because of the generation of when you actually played the games.
that's true. Yeah.
So I actually progressed from red to yellow to gold to crystal.
Hmm.
And I actually got to see the progression in the beginning, whereas I guess later on, if you see Ruby, so why would you go back to red and gold or red and blue and then gold and silver and then play Ruby if you already have Ruby right there, right?
Yeah, that's a
So,
really good point. Like having the first game that you play where it's like full color, backlit, like
mhm,
as presentable as it was on a Game Boy, that's a really good like I could see why people would like be partial to those games, like
mhm.
with that theory. That's a really good point. I think of that.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, I played it, I liked it, it was good. It wasn't as good as Gold and Silver because Gold was my favorite, but it was a very good step up, graphics wise. Um, a little bit extra to make it more competitive. They didn't
Hmm.
add any new types because they say that Gold and Silver was almost perfect. Fairy type wasn't even added
No,
until
I was
like
adding much later in
X
Gen
and
5.
Y, right? So
Yep, Gen 5, yeah.
so it was nearly perfect to the point where they didn't even need to add any more types because it was so well balanced. So you
Pretty
can
cool,
see
yeah.
my bias, but yeah.
So I played Alpha Sapphire, but I never played the original Ruby and Sapphire.
Mhm.
My little sister played Emerald, which actually like is really nice because I never played Emerald. There's just
Quaza.
something that I get excited about, just the fact that she had a different Pokemon experience than I did, but we loved it as kids.
Mhm.
She doesn't play anymore, but I still obviously do. Um, but when she played Emerald, I was playing Leaf Green, and my brother played Fire Red. So
Okay.
I think this is around the time when I started playing Pokemon, and like Leaf Green was like when I was like, oh, this is the original Kanto story, and they remade it for the Game Boy. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I really enjoyed those games. I don't really think there's much to say about that compared to like Blue. It just feels like a much cleaner version, but obviously, they got rid of like the fun glitches, and it doesn't have that like 8-bit feel to it.
Mhm.
Um, you're playing the game in full color, and you have the full like Ruby Sapphire type of animations,
Mhm.
where like you actually see the Pokemon being thrown and it's spinning, and then like all
Exactly.
that
Yep.
jazz. So, yeah.
One weak thing I think about Ruby Sapphire also was like the weird lava or sorry, not it's like the Team Rocket of Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh, Team Magma,
Magma and Team
Aqua.
Aqua.
We're
Yeah.
overthinking this. Yeah, it's that
Yeah.
simple.
Magma
Magma.
and Aqua. They just were really weird. It didn't really feel like they had this super or well thought out plan of
Mhm.
either world domination or this or that. Um, I
I
think Team Aqua was they wanted to rise the sea levels or something, and then Team Lava or Magma was something else. I don't even know. So
Yeah. So, hmm, just because it came up recently, trying to keep it spoiler free. I know I know a little more about them, and I also like recently played Alpha Sapphire like maybe a little less than a year ago. But it's really kind of fucked up. But basically, Maxi of Team Magma wants to use Groudon and destroy everything on Earth to purify the land and rebuild from there. Um, Team Aqua wanted to use Kyogre to do the exact same thing, but by washing everything away with the sea.
hmm.
Um, so is this really fucked up? Like we want to destroy the world to rebuild it, to purify it, and it's going to be good for Pokemon and good for people, sort of thing.
Hmm.
Even though they're technically criminal organizations and they're like treating Pokemon poorly and they're trying to like abuse these legendaries and stuff. Um, so I guess they were. That's why they were like your villains because they were like these super fucked up, like
Hmm.
demented kind of people. Even though they're presented like really cool theme, like fire water type of things. Even though like magma, it's kind of weird saying it's fire type because Groudon's a ground type. But yeah, that I guess I thought that was a really cool concept. I don't really. I felt like going back to Team Rocket in Silver and Gold wasn't as creative, even though I do like the way Silver and Gold plays out, where you go through Johto, you become the champion, then you go through Kanto, you become the champion there, and then you fight Red. Like that's fucking dope.
Hmm.
When you look at Ruby Sapphire, I feel like that was way more on the along the lines of like introducing like way more cool Pokemon and making everything presentable. So
Hmm.
maybe story wise it wasn't as good as Johto, but I still thought that I guess I disagree that I thought the villains were cool, but I can see why you don't think they're as cool just because you had like a much more fulfilling experience with red, blue,
Hmm. Right.
gold, and silver. Yeah.
Well, red blue was just very basic.
Oh yeah, it's like your bread and butter Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. But I don't remember too much about it. That's why. That's probably why. But yeah, it
Honestly,
was
me
very
neither.
good.
Yeah.
Fire red, leaf green was right in between there, and emerald was right after that. So, um, very solid,
Yeah.
solid next step. So, moving
Mhm.
on then.
All
Diamond and
right.
Pearl.
Oh baby. So this is the man. I mean,
This
I know
is
I've put like tons of time into other games too, but like Pokemon tells you how much time you put into the games as of the Game Boy versions, and I put over 400 hours into Pokemon Pearl. Dude, through this game, I like learned so much about competitive Pokemon. I collected so many special rare event Pokemon that given away all over the world. I met a girl online playing Pokemon Pearl. Um, this game has like gone above and beyond for me. It's always gonna have a special place in my heart. I am really, really hoping that the 2018 Nintendo Switch Pokemon RPG title is a remake of this game because I just given all the new mechanics from X, Y to Sun and Moon, I think that they're gonna like it's gonna be really good for the game because Pokemon's generally really good about remakes.
Mhm.
But Pearl was fucking dope. I loved the starters because they were so awkward. They were all super weird, but Piplup was adorable. It's this like cute little water penguin. It's like, oh, I love it. Turtwig was this like really awkward looking turtle with like a little sprout coming out of its head.
Mhm.
Then Chimchar was a little fire monkey.
I like
That
Chimchar.
yeah, that my little sister and my brother loved. So I just have a lot of really good memories with this game. But
Mhm.
I mean, I just love the fact that they had a really weird story, and it really so. Well, Diamond, you had Dialga as the cover Pokemon, who was the Pokemon of time,
Mhm.
and then you had Palkia from Pearl, who ruled space, and then you had Arceus. They well, I call it Arceus, but I know there's like a lot of different pronunciations, like Arceus or whatever. But Arceus was introduced in this fourth generation, where it was kind of like put next to Mew, and Mew was like the creator of all Pokemon, but then Arceus, I believe, was a creator of the universe, or the other way around. I don't remember,
No, it was
but
that. Yeah, Arceus was the creator of the universe. Mew was the creator of Pokemon. Because
yeah,
every Pokemon came from Mew,
uh-huh,
but Arceus was the one who created everything, pretty much.
yeah.
So
There we go. Okay, cool.
yeah, or
So I just remember
created
like
time
as
and
a,
space. Sorry, yeah, it was like
oh
he
yeah, yeah, yeah,
created
that's right, that's
time and
right.
space, and then
Through
from
Dialga
yeah,
and Palkia.
yeah,
Okay, cool. No, thank you. That helps a lot because I just remember like as a kid, I was like, this is a really cool concept. Like Pokemon that create other Pokemon to like create the concepts that we know in real life, but like human beings kind of we don't really have a lot of the answers as to like how things are created. Obviously, as a kid, I was always really curious about that. So like
Mhm.
having the Pokemon story of it, I thought was really cool. I also fell in love with Cynthia, who was the champion
Oh yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
Diamond and Pearl. She was that blonde girl with Garchomp. Holy shit! I loved Garchomp. I love Cynthia. She also had like one of the coolest theme songs. Like every major character in Pokemon has like a very specific theme song that plays when you battle them or like when you encounter them. I loved Cynthia's theme song. I don't know what it was when I was a kid. I was like, yeah, let's go. We're getting hyped. Like we're gonna battle or something.
Oh man.
I fucking loved it, dude. Um, I would spend a lot of time on Cerebi, which is a Pokemon like encyclopedia type website. They had a Wi-Fi chat room, and I remember like I would trade people all the time, and I'll be on there all the time. I even like registered my own username so people would know who I was. And I was talking to this person a lot, and it turned out that like, we were trading all the time, we were battling all the time, and there was a voice function in the old DS. So when I would like trade with this person and when I battled them, we eventually like turned it on once, and then like I realized it was a girl, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I actually hid from my parents because I didn't want them knowing I was talking to a girl, and she did the same. She didn't want her parents knowing she was talking to some random boy. But like we was literally just, like it was super innocent. I swear to God, like we would just play Pokemon and we just talk about like whatever it was. it was really exciting. I mean, I don't know if I don't remember what her name was, which kind of sucks. I'm sure I could find her in, like my friends list of Pokemon Pro if I really looked, but like it, you know, that's
Yo,
whatever.
hit her up right now. Pop it up. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Ultra
That's a good joke.
Moon, huh? Ultra Moon, Ultra Sun,
Yeah.
what
I
up?
can't believe that I actually met someone through the game like that, but I mean, we played like regularly. We will schedule times to like meet up on the chat room to like battle each other and like trade
Mm.
or whatever. I loved playing Pokemon, man. That game is so good for me, man. I loved it. Oh, that's pro for me, dude. You can jump
So,
in now.
so one thing I noticed was you always chose the Pokemon version that was not the most popular one.
Yes.
Okay. So, because
Yeah.
I noticed you said, so red was obviously the most popular, but you said you chose blue.
Yes.
And then gold is the most popular, and you chose silver.
Yes.
Ruby, and you chose sapphire, and
I like how
diamond,
you
you
caught
chose
this on. I'm
pearl,
actually
right?
really glad you caught on to that.
So, and now it's sun and moon, and you chose moon, and
Yep.
all that stuff. So, what's the reason here?
Okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate me, but I never thought Charizard was that cool. I mean, okay, granted, I think he is.
I will kick your ass. How dare you speak
I
those?
think really cool. I recently watched the 20th anniversary Pokemon movie, and I do have a really cool feature on Charizard, and I love that character Charizard. Um, I also have always been a kind of person that's like stay away from conventional or overpopulated, overrated ways of doing things. And I know that Charmander was almost always picked in like Gen 1. Like at least the majority of my friends love Charmander. Which I think is great because that means that when they went to their first gym battle against Brock, they got fucked. Anyway,
Hey, unless you had, I don't even remember who.
there was no real good Pokemon at the time to fight him up to that point. You had like Paris, which is a bug type. You had
No, Butterfree. Boom.
Butterfree's a fucking flying Pokemon. You get smashed by Rock.
Nah, confusion. That's all you
Oh
needed.
god.
It was just one time. Perfect.
But as a kid, I remember I liked water Pokemon a lot. So I was like, oh, let's go with Squirtle. With Silver, I'm partial to Lugia over Ho-Oh. I just thought Lugia was cooler. I like the white themed Pokemon, like the white psychic looking thing. I liked it a lot. The rainbow just seemed too much, but like I love the story of Ho-Oh. I just like Lugia more.
Mhm.
Ruby Sapphire, I'm partial to Kyogre over Groudon. I don't think Groudon was as cool, even though I think the Primo version of Kyogre is really cool, especially with its signature move, Precipice Blades. I just thought that was dope. But I liked Kyogre more just because it's a water Pokemon. So with Diamond and Pearl, I didn't have a good reason. I remember as a kid, I was a I was a dick to my brother, my little brother. I was really mean to him. I was a bully, but one of the nice things that I did for him was I let him pick between Diamond and Pearl. And I let him have Diamond because I guess he wanted to go, he just wanted it, and he liked Dialga more, the cover Pokemon. So I was like, all right, I'll go with Palkia. And at the time, I remember I wanted to be different. I wanted to stand out.
Oh, okay.
But I will admit that like whenever I battled my brother, he would often have the advantage because Dialga was stronger than Palkia, just strictly speaking. So there was that, and I don't know. I like with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, or Sun and Moon. I think Solgaleo is pretty cool, but I just like Lunala more.
Mhm.
I just like the bird looking thing. Granted, when I first saw them both, I thought they both looked kind of weird, but then they grew on me, especially with the story, because you find out like the origin of them and then like who they really are.
Yeah, and I
So
haven't. Okay, we'll talk about that later too. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't gotten to that point yet. But that's juicy.
yeah. No, it's really cool. But I just like Lunala more. So I guess for the most part, I just like the Pokemon on the less popular version more.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just the fact that I've convinced myself that I want the less popular version, so I'm just gonna go with that one. Um, but yeah,
Hey,
I guess
makes sense.
that's that. Yeah.
There you go. And while we were talking about that, I found actually the Tree of Life So we're gonna link this as well. If you guys are curious on the Pokemon and how kind of it's almost like where they started from and their tree of life. So
Oh, I know what you're talking about. This is the thing that showed up on Reddit a while ago.
yeah, it's super cool. So you can actually see where each Pokemon came from, where it branched off from. You have your starting, which was the creator Arceus or Arceus, however you want to say it, and then
Hmm.
it branches off from there. And then you had Pokemon that were either scientifically created or naturally created or whatever it is. It branches out and it tells you exactly how it goes. So
Oh, okay, okay. Wait, are you done?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, okay, cool. My bad. I just got really excited about something. So, looking at this tree of life, I also see other really big Pokemon that came from Diamond Pearl that I fell in love with. Cresselia and Darkrai, I thought were so cool. Darkrai was so dope. Especially, but they're like the lunar duo that apparently is what the Tree of Life calls it. I thought they're really cool. Giratina was also this like weird, fucked up looking shadow of a like dinosaur dragon looking thing.
Oh
I thought he was dope as
yeah.
fuck. Um, I really like him a lot, or it rather.
That was in Platinum,
Uh,
right? That's the cover of Platinum. Giratina.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I was gonna talk a little bit about that too. Platinum, I thought was an amazing game, by the way. I thought it was one of the better remakes. Like Emerald was really good, Crystal was obviously really good, but like Platinum was also like A plus. Like
Hmm.
you got to interact with both Dialga and Palkia, and you got to learn more about their origins. But then Giratina, you see it as like really fucked up, like alternate version, and oh, great story, great story. But
Well, I mean that kind of covers those two games. Right after that, I guess we can move on. You had Heart Gold and Soul Silver. We'll briefly pass through this very
yeah,
quickly. It was like a remake of the original Gold Silver. I actually haven't gotten to play them, but you did. How was it?
I liked it a lot. Um, I never played the original Gold and Silver, so playing Heart Gold Soul Silver was a unique experience for me in that you were exposed to the origins of the Johto Pokemon, but then there were also like random Pokemon thrown in because between Heart Gold and Soul Silver, every Pokemon up to that point, all 493 up to Gen 4 were available to catch.
Hmm.
For the most part, I think. Um, you can also trade between Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Diamond Pearl, but I know that once a Pokemon left Diamond Pearl, it wouldn't be able to go back. Um, if once it's in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So,
Okay.
they introduced a Pokewalker, which was a like a not a Bluetooth, but
Like a
I don't
little
remember what
toy thing that
infrared. That's what it
clipped,
was.
right?
Yeah, it was an infrared connection with a little toy that you clipped, and like as you walked in real life, the Pokemon like level up and like pick up items, and you could battle and catch Pokemon in it. It was really corny. It didn't really take off, but it was a cool, cute accessory. Um, I thought it was a really good game overall. It doesn't stand out too much in my memory, other than the fact that like all my friends played it and I played it.
Hmm.
But yeah,
All
it
right.
was good.
Well, very good game still. It's a good remake at least.
Mhm.
Then you had Black and White, which came out in 2011.
All right, these are just weird as fuck, man. Like when I played them, I was like, the it just didn't stand out to me as much. I played through them. I caught some of the legendaries, but I just it just really didn't stick with me,
Hmm.
honestly. I didn't feel like a real connection with it. I didn't feel like I really liked a lot of the Pokemon from the this is the Unova region. I thought it was okay. I don't think it was bad because they do have like a couple of Pokemon that are really cool,
Hmm.
but
Of course. I mean,
uh
they can't completely flop on certain ideas, but this was actually, in my opinion, the weakest one.
I agree. I do think it was cool though that at the beginning of the Pokédex, instead of starting with the grass starter as they traditionally have, Pokemon Pokédex entry 0 in Unova was Victini, which was considered a mythical Pokemon. I thought that was really cool.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I didn't even know much about Black and White at all.
Yeah, same.
I don't think they did a very good job marketing it. They didn't. For some reason, they may have slowed down here. They were running out of ideas, or I don't know what it was, but it was just a weaker version. So Black White, Black and White 2, They didn't even have something cool. They just had black 2 and white 2.
Yeah.
So they didn't have like platinum, silver, or platinum, crystal, emerald, all
But you
this
can't say
new
like
stuff.
Pokemon Gray. That sounds boosted as fuck.
Hey, you could. I mean,
That
they
sounds
went
pretty
from
bad.
they went from red, blue to yellow. Well, what is yellow? It was
Pikachu,
Pikachu. Well,
nigga,
still,
Pikachu.
man, you had black, white, and you can mix in a gray random Pokemon or something like that.
I guess. I think the concept of some of the Pokemon in Black and White are really cool. Like they had the Swords of Justice, which were these three like fighting Pokemon. I don't remember their names. And then they had the three weather, the three forces of nature. I think those are really
Okay.
cool. Um,
Um,
yeah, they introduced a ton of legendaries. Genesect was probably one of the coolest legendaries that I've seen, but like in comparison to like I don't know Lugia,
any
Rayquaza,
other.
stuff like that. And it's like, I mean, I guess he's okay, but I agree. Black and White was definitely the least memorable for me, and
Mhm.
maybe it was just bad timing for when it came out. But I just didn't feel like it was, uh,
Mhm.
one of my favorite titles or most enjoyable.
Yeah. So then we move on to X, Y, and Z.
There was no
Right.
Z.
X, Y, and the Z Pokemon legendary Z. No
Yeah,
Z.
so
There you go. Um,
I actually thought X and Y was really well done,
mhm.
like huge step up from Black and White. So what was cool was that X and Y was actually the reason why you bought a 3DS, right?
Hell yeah, dude. Here, I'm gonna pop it up right here. Look at this. I got the special XY edition, the blue X. Oh yeah, that's good.
It looks really good. I'm a little tilted because I bought both the red version and the blue version that you have for my brother and sister, but they never play it. But it felt good being able to use my own money that I earned to like buy them a gift. But anyway, XY was awesome. It was the first time ever, and then this is one of my favorite things about Pokemon since that you earn EXP from a battle, catch Pokemon. God bless. I am so glad they added that. This is also the first time they had like a real 3D world,
Mhm.
as in like it wasn't like two dimensional. You're kind of walking around up and down a little like a
Mhm.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. But
Yeah, it's basically like it's not a 2D walking way. It's
yeah,
you
exactly.
look like your character model's almost 3D. So
And they have really cool camera angles too when you walk around like different parts of the environment. Like they will shift around to make you feel like you're in a more dynamic,
yeah.
like you're more part of the game. I really like that a lot.
Hmm. Honestly, they hyped this up for some reason. X and Y was very hype up.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
it's
it
because it
got
was
really good mark.
very good. That's why I got super hyped about it. The Game Boy, the DS, 3DS, everything
Mhm.
about it was just super up there. And um, I don't actually remember too much about X and Y.
It might have just been the fact that it was like the first Pokemon game in 3D.
Right.
So
So a lot of different things. Yeah, the graphics, the new style, the new this, new that. There's always new Pokemon, so those weren't too much of a difference. But yeah, it was a well-made game. Very
yeah,
well-made
I
game.
really liked it. Like I said, I'm probably gonna replay it soon just because I've been itching to, and I think it'd be fun. So
Definitely. I think I need to. I don't even know if I finished the full game, so.
maybe just wipe, save, trade all your Pokemon into your new game, and then try it again.
That hurts. That hurts. Okay. Ah, wiping it.
um,
All right. Well, yeah.
yeah, it hurts to wipe them. But next we have Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Did you play these?
No. I did not actually play them because I played Ruby and Sapphire, so I didn't. I never thought the remakes were worth it because I played the originals.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
So, well, I'm of the opposite opinion because I never played the original, so I don't know if the original's worth it, Dan.
Oof.
But with Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, I was super on edge about buying this because I really wanted to pick up the games for some reason, and I can't tell you why, Dan, but I couldn't justify paying the full price of $40 for these games. I have no idea why. It just felt really hard. Maybe it was like X and Y were good, but then I dropped that after like 50 hours, and then Black 2, White 2, Black White were disappointing.
Hmm.
So maybe I was just like super on the fence about it, but I finally picked up Alpha Sapphire after I played Sun and Moon. Really weird, but I was after I played Sun and Moon, and I saw the game on sale for $20 at Meyer, and I'm like, this. I would feel so bad if I didn't pick it up for $20. Like,
Hmm.
I was gonna go for it, so I did, and I played through the game. I kind of like blasted through the story just because I really wanted to get to the end game, which is a really big reason why I bought it. Um, between Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, every legendary Pokemon up until that point was obtainable. Um, so I really wanted to make sure I got as many Pokemon as possible that were only obtainable in Alpha Sapphire that I couldn't get in Sun and Moon at the time, as well as the legendary. So that was a really big motivator for me. I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was really well done. I'm probably gonna replay it because it'd be cool to go back into like the Hoenn region. But yeah, just in general, I've had like a really good experience. They're very similar to X and Y. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. I think I might only have like 50 or 60 hours on it, and then I probably was done with it.
Hmm.
But I did like catch a lot of like version exclusives and legendaries and like imported them over. So yeah, overall it's pretty good, but not as good as what we're about to talk about. So
Hell yeah. Popping out here, we're talking about Sun and Moon. So
oh
I didn't
baby,
actually get Sun and Moon, which I was actually sad about because I actually heard it was very good. Um, it was a huge improvement in a lot of aspects as well, and you can't even imagine how much more improvement you can make on a Pokemon game. Like it just doesn't make any more sense, but they did. They
yeah.
Nintendo just knows what to do right now. Come on. Woo!
No, I completely agree, Dan. Like you're making the point that like it almost seemed like they had a really good formula for X and Y and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, but so in Sun and Moon, they got rid of gyms. They got rid of major cities that well no, that's not true. Like okay, so in the original Pokemon games, you would be able to like fly to major cities only. In Sun and Moon, you could fly to major like areas in general. So like
Mhm.
any place that might not necessarily have a Pokemon Center, but was like a major point in the game, you could fly to. Um, Another amazing thing about Sun and Moon is that they got rid of HMs. Holy shit! Oh, also I think in X and Y, they made it so TMs don't break after one use.
Mhm. Yeah.
That was also a huge, much needed change. I also think that in XY onward, you got the experience share much earlier, so it just felt less grindy the game,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a little more straightforward. But anyway, yes. So in Sun and Moon, they made it so there are four islands,
Mhm.
and you could travel between each island, and there are trials that you fight and you go through. They're like puzzles, in order to kind of get your equivalent of a gym badge. And instead of getting gym badges, you got Z crystals, which is a new mechanic they introduced. That's that enables Pokemon to use a very powerful move, but only once in a battle. And these Z crystals are they're type assigned, so you would give them to a Pokemon if they had a move of that type, they could use it without necessarily matching that Pokemon's type. Um, the story is also extremely weird and goofy. I think that they made it so the game was intentionally a little more trolly, and it just felt like very fun and very. It was a very new experience.
Mhm.
Since
Very
I played
lighthearted, right?
Sun and Moon and then Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I'm a little biased, but like Dan, you're literally getting through Ultra
Mhm.
Sun for the first time now. What's the story like for you?
So before we actually get into that, we forgot Mega Evolutions was actually introduced
Ah,
in.
shit. Yeah, you're right.
That was one big thing actually that they
That was
changed
X and Y,
in X and
right?
Y. Yeah, it was
Yeah, you're right.
Mega Evolutions. That's another reason why X and Y was so hyped, was because
Yeah.
you got your Charizard that could turn into two different Charizards.
That's true. Oh
Yeah. There you
One of
go.
them was actually a dragon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, and you got your Pokemon to actually turn into their mega versions of it. So, lots of different clips and videos on YouTube that actually brought a lot of hype to X and Y. But moving on, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I have been very engaged. So the beginning is super slow. It is very slow. Like the
A lot of people complain about that. Yeah.
and we talked about this like 2 episodes ago. It's very slow, very tons of words that you have to read, and you don't have to read it, but tons of cutscenes and this and that, and you don't want to this and that, and annoying. But once it gets to the middle, it actually gets super interesting, where the story has twists and turns that you don't expect to happen. So I think that's super interesting. The Pokemon you catch is everywhere. You have new ride systems. So, like Johnny said, they got rid of the HMs. Um, you actually can have what's called a ride pager, where you can ride a Pokemon like you rode a bike. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
basically.
like you have certain Pokemon that do certain things. Like, so they got rid of all the HM, so you can actually surf on a certain Pokemon with a ride pager. You can use strength. You can run faster. You can do this. You can do that. All of these things, you don't have to teach your Pokemon those HM moves and have annoying moves that you don't ever want to use during battle. So,
Yeah. So then you would like page your Charizard, and that was the same thing as flying in every other Pokemon game. You would page your Lapras, and then you start surfing.
mhm,
If you wanted to like push some rocks, like Dan was talking about, use strength, you would call your Machamp. It's I think the concept is adorable, and
mhm.
it's like it just removes a frustration in the game that didn't need to be there.
Right. So yeah, and you actually saw these Pokemon like either carry you or you're riding them, and it's super cool. Like the strength book with Machamp, he carries you with two arms and he pushes you with the other two arms on top, so he's four armed, and it's
Yeah.
super cute that he actually holds you and cradles you
Yeah, he
almost.
cradles you with two of his arms, and the other times he pushes shit around. It's hilarious.
So I think that's super cool. The characters are very interesting, and you actually see progression in the styles and their personality almost. A lot of it, your character sucks because your character just shows no emotion and no
He's just
facial.
smiling like Goofy the whole time.
Yeah, I think maybe that's another improvement on the next Pokemon game. Maybe show some emotion in your own face.
Uh-huh.
Maybe some facial recognition so you can actually be like, oh my god, what?
All right. So while we're talking about characters, I need to talk about one thing that really upset me about Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon,
hmm
and maybe I okay. So I'm at a pretty late point in the game, post game after the Elite Four. Um, I'm I'm going on the next step to fight Team Rainbow Rocket. This isn't a spoiler because it's been like a really big part of their advertising, but I'm not gonna tell you how you get there. But I am fighting Team Rainbow Rocket right now. So maybe this happens afterwards. I don't know. Okay, so Dan, do you remember? Um, oh, you're at that point now.
Yep.
Oh man, maybe this is a spoiler. Okay, whatever. It doesn't happen. It's not a big deal. So, um, in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, after you go through the legendary Pokemon arc that generally happens before your last gym battle in every
Mhm,
other game, like this happened in Diamond Pearl and like
mhm,
and Red and Blue and stuff, like you fight legendary Pokemon and stuff before the last gym. Um, right after that, you oh no, right before. Oh, you've gotten there. Never mind. Okay, I'm all over the place. But you've gotten there. I just realized because you went to the island. You went to
mhm.
Executor Island to get
Yes.
the Sun Flute.
Yes.
So okay, on Executor Island, there is a little cove, like a little like cave area where you can like hide.
Oh,
And it's just
shit.
randomly sitting there. In Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, it has no purpose. Um, in Sun and Moon, uh, there's a really heartwarming cutscene that happens there. So I don't know if you remember, but when you're heading to Executor Island in Ultra Sun, Lily says she wants to go with you,
hmm
but then you end up telling her to stay behind and that you'll just go on your own. You
Yep.
remember that?
Well, somebody else told her that she can.
Someone else suggested it, and you were like, "Yeah, you should stay here."
Yeah.
I was heartbroken by that because in Sun and Moon, she goes with you, and as she's going with you on the island, it starts pouring rain, and you stand in this little like cave cutout area, and you wait the rain out, and there's a cutscene, and this only happens if you pick a male character. So when you pick a guy, um, she talks to you about how she really wants to get stronger. She really wants to save people. I'm trying to keep it
hmm
spoiler free.
I know which
And
one. Yeah.
well, yeah, her mom or
Yeah.
whatever. She's trying to save her mom, and she wants to just do better for herself, so you don't have to always watch out for her.
Right.
And then she says in a cutscene, after all this is over, she wants to go on the adventure with you. and it's just in the context of like her basically confessing her love to
Hell
you. So,
yeah! Damn,
but
we
if you
missed
pick the
that.
girl, the text is different.
Why can't she confess her love to you
I
again?
can actually pull it up right now. Lily text
Why can't
Sun Moon.
Nintendo be so gay
Okay,
pride?
okay,
Come
I just
on,
pulled it
man.
up because Reddit has everything. So in in when you're a guy, she'll say, "I think I'd like to become a trainer too, and travel together with you." When you're a girl, she said, "I want to be a trainer too and learn all the things you know." So it's like they're very different, and she's kind of like telling you she wants to be with you, but
Mm.
that scene doesn't happen in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I was like, no. When I found out that she stays on the island, I'm like, she's not gonna tell me she loves me. I'm so sad. And like Lily, I actually really like the character, so I intentionally chose a guy because I wanted to see this scene again. And I was like, oh no, the story's different this time, and she doesn't tell you she loves you. Oh,
No, I kind of hate her. She just keeps getting lost. She gets getting misplaced. She just all of a sudden starts getting into a fight. Like, yeah.
yeah, she's a bit of a handful, but she's adorable.
All right, all right.
Uh,
But yeah, we'll put a spoiler tag in the video.
yeah, we'll know it a little bit, but
But yeah, I mean, it's a great game so far. They've increased a lot of, or made small little improvements here or there that were just annoyances, and so far so good. I haven't finished
yeah.
it yet, but I am like 40 hours in right now within the past like 2 weeks or something. So,
Mhm.
whew. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. I think I want to just do a couple quick shout outs to notable mentions that we didn't talk about in the main storyline. I personally really like Pokemon Coliseum, which was the first GameCube game,
okay.
Pokemon game, and it was also like a really 3D game where like walk around. It's this 3D game that we're talking about that we only saw in X and Y for the 1st
Mhm.
time, but I loved it. I love the idea of like these shadow Pokemon. I love that you can catch really cool like you got to see 3D models like Medicham, Tyranitar, and then you have to like catch the 3 legendary dogs.
Mhm.
I love that. Um,
Well, I'm gonna give a shout out too right here. Pokemon Stadium.
okay, see, everyone's gonna side with you because Stadium's way cooler than
Hell yeah!
Coliseum.
Come
But I
on.
never played Stadium, so you can have this one, and I'll just take the minority.
The N64 Pokemon Stadium. Oh
Never played it.
yes,
Never played it.
because that was when you actually saw the Pokemon battle. Like this is the XY version of or the Diamond Pearl. You can actually see the battles.
Hmm.
That was the first time they actually showed it like that in Pokemon Stadium, not in the actual handheld game. So that's why it was so cool.
Oh,
You know,
right, yeah.
you can
That
see
makes
their
sense.
moves actually doing an actual move rather than just little particles flying around or something. So
Yeah.
but yeah.
I also have so in my Pokemon Ranch, that was a DS Wii thing. So like you would install it on your Wii, and then it would act like as a bank for you to like store all your Pokemon.
Hmm.
What's really frustrating is that I have over 900 Pokemon in my ranch, but it's really difficult to transfer those Pokemon to the latest games. I don't know if I'm ever going to commit the time to do that because it might take like hours. I don't know if or weeks rather. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it, but I thought it was really cool.
Hmm.
I love that. And then um what else was really cool? Oh,
Pokesnap. Pokesnap. What was that?
Pokemon Snap was where you took pictures of Pokemon,
Loved it.
and it's like that's basically all it was, right?
Yep. You just take Pokemon, pictures of Pokemon. It was still fun though. A lot of
Yeah,
fun. I don't
Pokemon
know
Snap
why.
was cool.
Yeah.
And then Pokemon Battle Revolution, I also thought was really cool, which is kind of the same reason why Pokemon Stadium was loved so much. It's like this 3D battle people
Mhm.
thing. I loved it. I just love the idea of 3D, which really makes me hope that whatever Pokemon RPG for Nintendo Switch comes out in 2018, which has been mentioned and promised in a press release.
Mhm.
I mean, it might delay it, whatever, but I'm hoping that it's just like a 3D gorgeous version of Diamond and Pearl that's like redone and remastered and like everything's amazing about it. That's my dream. I'm just hoping if that happens, oh man, I'll just be a very happy boy.
No, they gotta remake Red and Blue.
That would also be hype as fuck. I would love that if they just like blew it up and like an amazing version of Red and Blue. That'd be dope too. But then I'd be wondering where the
Other
Diamond
Pokemon.
Pearl remake is because they're next in line for a remake. Dan, they already did it. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. We're next. Sinnoh's
Oh boy.
so
All right, man. It
yeah.
has been going on for quite a long time here.
Yeah, this is a really long episode.
We're just really excited to share some Pokemon love, especially since I'm actually playing through it now and Johnny's playing through it now. So, and it's such a good game, and Nintendo's doing a great job. And they're not just money grabbing; they're actually making improvements in these games. So,
Yeah, I agree.
but there are definitely a lot of money grabs as well. But overall, still very good. Any anything else you'd like to share?
No, I really want to know from our viewers what some of their favorite and more memorable Pokemon titles are. I know we talked a lot about some of our favorites and like our experiences, so I would love to hear like some of the more memorable stories that you guys have.
Hmm.
Honestly, like I really mean that. I just think Dan and I would like really enjoy talking about them.
Hmm.
And yeah, if you guys have anything else that you'd like to share,
Hmm.
like I said, you can, if you're watching us on YouTube, feel free to comment below. If you're watching us anywhere else, or if you just feel like emailing us, you can email us at djtalkspodcast@gmail.com. Do you have any closing words, Dan?
If we did shit on your favorite game a little bit, we're sorry, but we each have our opinions. You can share and shit on our opinions as well. So
The only one we shat on was Black 2, White 2, Black and White. So if you're an Unova fan, let us know and
tell
we'll
us
feel
why.
a little bad if we could talk about. Yeah, tell
No,
us
you
why. 'Cause
tell
we'd
us
love to,
why.
I would actually love to find a reason to replay those games. Honestly, like if I could like play them again and enjoy them, then I would love that. Like, tell me why you loved it and convince me to want to play. Like, convince both of us. We'll
There you go.
probably we'll consider it.
There you go. There you
So-
go. That's a good reason why you should comment below to convince us to play it. So,
Hell yeah.
Nintendo, you should contact us and convince us to play it.
Hell yeah.
I haven't bought it yet, so there's more money. But there you are. Comment, subscribe, whatever else you have to do, and you will see us next time. Adios.